Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We have a very important topic for BS classes. Yes, it's about oral presentation. Because whatever your subject is, you need to present your ideas, knowledge, information, not only in your personal life but also in practical life, in professional life. Coming towards the concept and definition of oral presentation, generally, a live and spoken communication, typically with visual aids. Why? For sharing of ideas, knowledge, opinion, views, feelings, etc. So many definitions are there, but simply we can define it. Oral presentation conveys information from a speaker to an audience. Now, what are the characteristics? What are the characteristics? Spoken words delivered verbally. So, this is the presentation where a speaker is speaking and he is speaking to live audience. Visual aids, usually visual aids are used, slides, images. It's time limited activity. Usually it's from 10 to 13 minutes. It may be of 2 minutes. So, but it's very clear that it's time limited activity. Towards the end of the activity, there must be question and answer session in order to get feedback from the audience. Now, question is, what are the key elements of an effective oral presentation? First of all, it needs preparation. The speaker must have clear objectives in his mind, and he must have concise and relevant data to explain, to defend his presentation. Content, the subject must be in detail, and the language should also be very effective. It needs to be up to the level of, up to the mental level of audience. Delivery of the presentation, it should be delivered with clear articulation, very clear pronunciation, with the effective and proper body language, gestures, because all these additional things assist us to convey our information, knowledge in an effective way. There must be organization of the presentation. It means it must have a reasonable beginning. We may also call it with the topic sentence. There must be middle. It means it has the main portion, explanation of the topic sentences and the examples, so evidences which are sporting to the topic sentence, sporting to the objectives we want to achieve. And finally, a presentation must have ending, proper end. We can say conclusion. Next one is visual aids. These are helping hands to explain, elaborate the idea, knowledge of the presenter. And these are usually slides, images, graphs. Audience interaction. A speaker needs to have eye contact with his audience. If he is not having eye contact, it would show that he is not confident. He is not having confidence to have eye contact while speaking of his topic. Style must be full of confidence, passion, but there must be flexibility, and witty touch also be there. He may use something on the lighter note. Towards the end, there must be question and answer session, because it would give him a feedback for the level of his success with reference to his oral presentation. So these are the elements. If present in an oral presentation, it can hopefully be very effective at the end of the day. But if these are missing, so the results would be roughly unpleasant. Now we have some types of oral presentations. First one is impromptu. It's often it's speech, especially in response to please come and say a few words. Usually in the classroom at the end of session, you may have such activity when you are asked to say something about the topic, about the event, about the situation, and the speaker gets 1 to 2 minutes for his preparation. So he gets least time to prepare himself, to prepare carefully for the response. So this is the test of his smart thinking. Extemporaneous. Here, speaker gets more time. Usually he gets 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes before speaking for a topic. So as he gets more time, he can prepare himself for that presentation rather more carefully. He can have a very good plan. He could have even notes in keywords, not totally written, but just he may have some keywords on the paper. Next one is manuscript. This is fully scripted speech. So here the speaker has all the speech in black and white. He has written notes and he's just reading those notes. Finally, we have memorized oral presentation. It looks like a test of memory on the part of speaker, because he comes at a stage with the memorized content and he starts uttering, he starts speaking about the topic he has in his mind. The question is, what are the key purposes of oral presentation? Usually informative. It's informing this audience about something, giving them knowledge, information. Persuasive, when the speaker has an objective in his mind to persuade, to convince the audience. It may be motivational, when he is trying to motivate them to do something or not to do certain steps. It may be analytical. So when he is analyzing a situation, analyzing two different things, it may have the purpose of narrative. When the speaker is telling some event, some past event, some just like a story. What would be the structure of an oral presentation? Its first part would be intro, that is having objectives and topic sentences. Usually it's of about 10% of total speech. Main body, again it would have detail, examples, evidences, explanation, and it's a main part of the speech. And all this part should be according to the topic sentence, according to the topic. And usually it's of 70% of the speech. Then we have conclusion. Here the speaker is supposed to summarize his speech with a few sentences, and it's about 10% of the total speech, total presentation. And last but not least is question and answer session, just to have feedback. Again, it has about 10% of the total presentation. What to avoid? The speaker needs to avoid the use of fillers like he needs to avoid the use of long pauses, the repetition of same ideas, same words. He needs to avoid from looking at the grounds or in the sky awkwardly. He also needs to avoid being irrelevant, because all these things create unpleasant impact on the audience. In conclusion, we can easily say that for being an effective speaker, oral presentation is a mandatory skill to be learned and practiced. Thank you very much.